Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall, where we throw ideas, see what sticks, and nurture those that do. I'm your host, Armando Leduc, an actor, entrepreneur, and coach, giving you insights that light up your world. We're here to explore the realms of business, marketing, and life, serving up a shot of inspiration with every episode. Ready to make ideas stick and grow them into something great? Let's dive in. Woohoo! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are consuming this podcast. Spaghetti on the Wall, back with another one. Whitney Lee is in the house.
Hi. Great. Thanks for having me back. This is round two.
Round two. I'm going to tell you why it's round two. I talk about this often in terms of podcasting and how powerful it is. I don't know how we met. I think I was invited to your podcast first, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did your podcast and I was like, you need to do my podcast. Yeah. And then we connected again. And I was like, man, found out all of the things. And you were like, you need to meet a girl named Jasmine Jonte who does online courses.
Yeah.
And I said, cool. And I met Jasmine. We did a podcast together. And then from there, I get invited into this world that has just been nonstop for the last 2 years. Just insanity, right? I meet Glenn Ledwell, who runs Flight Club.
Yes.
And then that takes me to I'm going to Antarctica in a couple of weeks.
Really? With Flight Club?
With a guy who I met at Flight Club, Carl, who runs a Insider Expeditions, I believe is the name of his company. And so he puts together these once in a lifetime bucket list trips. And he was like, yeah, you should totally come to Antarctica. And I was like, yep, gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was like, and then I was like, I totally forgot to mention, Whitney, that you accidentally changed my life, by happenstance, right? You never know who you're going to meet. And it was just the podcast that we were on that, introduced me to this whole new world. And now I'm in a whole different spot. So I wanted to bring you back because I know you've been traveling a lot and you've got a lot of things going on and you've got 2 brands, but we'll get into all of that. Just give me a 2-minute and the audience a 2-minute backstory on how you got where you got.
Totally. Okay. The quick and dirty of it. I started my career in hotels, branched out, started my own agency. Gosh, I left the Hilton in 2013. Grew that. It was originally in Destin. All of our clients were there. Over the years, we niched down to really focus on hospitality, travel, tourism, kind of those experiential brands. So we've been doing that for, since 2013. So we're a team of 6. We're fully remote. We represent clients all over the nation, internationally also. We have a client based out of the Maldives. So every day is different. But one thing that kind of kept being on my brain when I first started, obviously it was just me, right? I was like a little 20-something freelancer running around Destin, Florida, just trying to hustle and make some money and get clients. And so for a long time, I helped a lot of mom and pops. So as the agency grew and we really kind of went nationwide, international, I kind of wasn't able to help those mom and pops anymore, right? Once you start taking on W-2 employees and you got benefits and you got payroll and you got all these other expenses as a national agency, your price has to go up. Right. And so that priced us out of helping a lot of mom and pops. And a lot of business owners would be like, well, that's freaking great. And it is, I'm very grateful for that. But also the mom and pops are the whole reason I got into this. So I think you and I will dive more into that later. But we have, over the last few years, I've been scratching my head of how can I still help these mom and pops, but quite frankly, not lose money over it? What can I still, because I can't put the team on it and literally lose money on helping them. I want to help them, but also I don't want to go bankrupt. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
That's kind of been my journey, but true story is the agency. That is my baby, and kind of always will be. So we've been rocking and rolling and growing and all the things.
That's amazing. And so you got 2 brands now.
Yes.
And I always, when I'm doing consulting, I'm like, you got to focus, right? But I think that, when you can build two brands that coincide, or is this a real good collaborative, endeavor, it could really work well. And so you've been doing that. And so let's get into that. Let's get into the two brands that you got going.
Yes. So over the years, as I was scratching my head about how to help these mom and pops, I said, if I kept trying to do it underneath True Story, but I was like, what that's doing is watering down True Story's brand. It's confusing for a person to come to our website and be like, oh, you help these big corporate companies, like you have Hiltons and Marriott's and all this kind of stuff, but then you're also like helping coach mom and pops on the side. Like it just didn't align. And finally it became so clear to me. I was like, if we're going to do this, we really need to like separate this into two different brands, and two different companies, basically. So we created Your Marketing Heroes as a sister brand, spinoff brand to True Story. Basically, what Your Marketing Heroes is an opportunity for small businesses that maybe can't afford a big agency. Heck, most of them can't even afford somebody in-house, right? They don't have the money to have a full-time marketing director with a lot of experience. You're talking about 80, depending on where you live in the nation, you're talking about an 80, 90, $100,000 salary for an experienced marketing director. They can't afford that and still have money to do advertising and to have another budget for those types of things. So we created Your Marketing Heroes, and basically what it is a 90-day program where it's a group effort. We bring in 10 to 12 businesses at the same time. We help them side by side build out a marketing plan. Super straightforward. It's not all this fluff of like, you maybe could do this. Maybe we help them get really clear on like, this is where you need to spend money. All this other stuff, stop worrying about that. Focus on A, B, C, and that's how you'll be successful. So at the end of the 90 days, they have their entire marketing plan built out. But here's the kicker. We actually teach them how to execute it. Because there's tons of agencies that do strategy, right? Like, you should, buy these ads and do this and do that. But I think where small businesses run into the issue is that they don't know how to execute that. Yeah, they know what they should be doing. You can tell them what to do, but if they don't know how to do it, they don't, instead of putting pen to paper, when you put finger to keyboard, if they don't know how to do that, what's the point of telling them what to do if they don't know how to do it? So we actually teach them how to execute it. Or if they've got an assistant, the assistant can do the program with them. And the assistant gets access to all of our training videos. They have a weekly support call of, hey, I clicked on this and I don't really know what to do with that. And so if they run into any kind of execution roadblocks, they get access to our team to fully coach them through all of that.
When did you start this?
We literally just launched it in September. So for the first while, we're going to be doing cohorts. So our next cohort is going to start after the holidays. For anybody listening right now, it is November 3rd. I can't believe it's November. It's November 3rd right now. So we're going to hold and do the next cohort right after the new year. But yeah, so we just kicked it off in September and have had a lot of interest and questions, and it's something very unique. I don't know of anybody doing a program like this. It's not just a course where you watch videos. It's not. You get group time with us to talk through. You do watch some videos, but then you come to the call with homework of here's what you need to know. And then we talk through and give them, the guidance there on the call. So
yeah,
that's
amazing. Look, I had the same problem. I was trying to fit everything into the Leduc Entertainment brand. With spaghetti on the wall and partnership for profit and content into clients and my personal brand. And so when we separated it, cleaned it up a lot, right? And kept Leduc Entertainment as a video production company, and then my brand is more on the consulting end, my mastermind, things that I've got going on over there, which works really, really well. I love an idea of a done for you and then obviously a done with you consulting aspect. I think every business should have something in that capacity, especially marketing agencies, because it's easy thing to do. And you can tag that onto, your pricing pretty easily. Like people are always like, well, can't have everybody, and be like, well, if you just add this little N right here, it's a low ticket offer that you can bring people in, coach them up, get them making money, and then they can afford to do the done for you.
It's actually been great because a lot of people that still reach out to True Story just from knowing me or years in Destin, Florida and all that, they'll still reach out to me about True Story. And I'm like, hey, for True Story, that is like a full blown execution agency, right? Full service. We're doing everything. It's white glove. So yes, our retainers are anywhere from 5 to 10 grand a month. Usually the moment I say that, they're like, oh God, never mind. But it's a great segue for me to say, I get it. I know you can't afford that. You're a mom and pop, or you got a single location, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We have this option to do it in a group. You still get access to me. You still get access to my team, where they're going to help you figure all this out. And they love it because they no longer have to babysit a marketing assistant. If they've got an assistant, they stick the assistant on our calls and we help answer every single one of the questions for the assistant.
That's amazing.
It's actually, to me, I feel like it's like the best of both worlds.
And so I know you've been traveling 120 days out of your suitcase.
Okay. So actually last year, 2024, I went on this like soul searching, eat, pray, love. Like I had been living in the Florida Panhandle for 14 or 15 years. And I kind of I had this itch to get outside of the area. And as the agency went national, I could finally be anywhere. And so I told myself, I'm like, I love the Destin, Pensacola area. It's beautiful. I say I became an adult there. I moved there right after college, So I have so much love for that area, but I just felt like, especially in regards to business, if I really wanted to grow the business, I had to get out of small town USA,
Yeah.
And so I finally got us where, our clients were everywhere. So it didn't matter where I was. So I hit the road in 2024 and did 32 cities and 4 countries in 52 weeks. Still working full time the whole time. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, I was at a computer. I might be in Austin, Texas. I might be in Burlington, Vermont. I might be in Phoenix, Arizona, but I was at a computer Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So nobody even knew this was going on. I would travel
That's
at
awesome.
night or on the weekends. But really it was kind of a soul searching journey to figure out, like, I can live anywhere. Where do I want to be? So I scratched that itch for sure. And this year, at the beginning of 2025, of all the places I went, what felt like home to me was Phoenix, Arizona. So here I am. I'm back in Phoenix. I did dip out for the summer because the summers here, anybody listening, Arizona summers, it's like 118 degrees. It's a hard no. So I dipped out for the summer. I did 8 cities in 120 days, living out of a suitcase.
What's that like?
Actually, it flew by. It was kind of hard. Like over time, I missed the rest of my wardrobe. I got tired of wearing the same things over and over again. I guess that's a total like chick comment, but it was great. I got to see. I did 2 weeks with my family in South Mississippi. I did 2 weeks in Tampa. I went to New York City. I did a month in Nashville. I did a month in Chicago. Chicago in the summer. Oh God, one of the best. So it was an adventure for sure.
And you rented out your place?
Yeah.
So my
house in Pensacola is fully rented. I have a long-term tenant there. So that was all set up and good to go. And so
you can be the digital nomad. What have you learned from that experience?
Okay. So I'm a planner. I like to plan things out, right? I think my biggest takeaway from that whole year was like, I can figure anything out. And there were times in the trip, specifically, I remember one time, I was leaving Denver. I did a month in Denver throughout last year. And I was 4 days away from having to be out of my Airbnb. And I had no idea where I was going. Nothing else lined up, nothing on the books. I had my car and all the stuff packed to the ceiling, and I had 4 days to figure it out. And you know what I did? I figured it out.
And figured it out.
Yeah, well, what happened was I was waiting. I was supposed to be flying down to Baton Rouge for a client event at the Hilton Baton Rouge, and they hadn't approved my flight yet. So I was like, I couldn't buy the ticket without their approval. So I'm just like hanging out in limbo land. So anyway, I figured it out, and I think it built a lot of belief in me of like, I can figure anything out. I can figure anything out on my own. And also had a pretty life-changing curveball thrown at me in September. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
So in September, I started off the beginning of the year, and I went to Austin, Texas, Phoenix. I went up through Grand Canyon, Moab, Denver, through the Midwest, up to Chicago, Columbus, Ohio. So anyway, I made my way up into New England, and I told myself, I'm like, I want to do New England in the fall. I had been in Burlington, Vermont for about 5 or 6 days for the work week. And then I was headed to Bar Harbor, Maine. So I owned a Volvo XC90, packed it to the ceiling, and was driving from Burlington to Bar Harbor, which is about a 6.5-hour drive. Super beautiful. And I was actually at an intersection, and an 18-wheeler blew through a yellow light going 60 miles an hour, hit me driver's side.
Oh, wow.
Literally an inch away from my driver's door. Spun me all the way around. It was a logging truck. I never even saw him coming. I literally had hands attended to. I was listening to a podcast, just bebopping along. And literally all of a sudden I just saw white, like, hit me, and it was the airbag hitting me in the face. Yeah, I remember the exact moment that my brain started computing what was happening. And I mean, they always say you see a light whenever you die. So I see this white, and I'm like, oh my God, am I dying? Like, I remember our inner dialogue. My brain said, am I dying? Is this what is happening? It spun me all the way around. I don't know how, but I was physically untouched. He literally ripped the entire front end of my Volvo, the front axis, into like a right angle. And Volvo's claim on their brand, talking about branding, their claim to fame is that no one has ever died in an XC90. So, hi, poster child for Volvo.
Wow.
Yeah. So the ambulance came, they ripped me out of the vehicle. It was wild. And at that point, I'm by myself, right? So the moment I opened my mouth, they heard how Southern I am. And they're like, you're not from here, are you? And I'm like, no. And they're like, can we just take you? Do you have a family member nearby? And I'm like, well, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Just a quick jaunt. So they took me, the cop was really sweet, but took me to an Enterprise rent-a-car, 20 minutes. They scooped up the Volvo, towed it off, handed me a business
This was
card.
a rental?
No, the Volvo was my car. I had literally driven the Volvo all the way through that whole journey and made it up to New England. So they handed me a business card and said, this is the junkyard where we took your Volvo. The cop took me to an Enterprise rent-a-car 20 minutes down the road and dropped me off and was like, bye, have a nice day. I rented a Tahoe and drove back out into the middle of nowhere, Maine. By this point, I was in Maine. If anyone knows, Lewiston, Maine is where I was, somewhere right outside of that little tiny city. Took the Tahoe back out to the junkyard, backed it into the junkyard right behind the Volvo, and took everything out of my Volvo, packed it in the Tahoe, and had 2.5 more hours to drive to Bar Harbor. Yeah.
Untouched. Concussion?
No.
No concussion?
I definitely felt, I've never had a concussion, so I don't really know that feeling. I definitely felt very, a little woozy. I definitely could tell like I had whiplash because my head was kind of a little swimmy or whatever. But I was probably just running on pure adrenaline,
Did you contact an attorney? With attorney, so I'm like, the worst thing you do is call up.
Yeah. So I will say this: all of that is, I don't even know what's happening with it. It's in the works. This was last September. Actually, it was on September 11th. So, what an interesting day. they're working on all that. But the cop did, when he was filling out all the paperwork, he said, if it makes you feel any better, the way it's a very interesting, it's not just a 4-way intersection. It was kind of like at an angle. So I couldn't see him. He couldn't see me. And so he said, if it makes you feel any better, the cop, makes you feel any better, this happens at this intersection about 3 times a week. I said, actually, no, that doesn't make me feel any better. That makes me angry that y'all haven't fixed this yet.
Yeah.
And then he kind of giggled that because I said the word y'all, he kind of giggled. And I was like, now is not the time, bro.
It's like when you see those stupid ass videos where there's an accident and people drive by and they're like, hey, you can't park there.
Oh my God. I just
can't park there, man. And they're like, ah! Like they're just
I don't blame them.
No, of course not. Like, can't park there, bro.
Somebody literally sent me one of those like yesterday or day before. That's so funny you mentioned that. But yeah. And so I had no other choice other than to continue the whole road trip, because what was I going to do? Like stop in the middle of, already had places booked in Bar Harbor and Portland and Newport, Rhode Island. So I finished the trip and
like business as usual, just whatever. Car crash.
Yeah, I'd never been in a car accident. Not a real one. You know what I mean? Like I think somebody like rear-ended me at a red light one time. It's like the tiniest little tap. But not a real car accident like this. I'll just say PTSD is a real thing. I've never doubted that it was a real thing, but now I understand so deeply how it is a real thing. Every time I come to an intersection and I have to choose, like, is the coast clear for me to go, like taking a right on red or anything, I have so much anxiety. And now this has been over a year ago, right? So I have so much anxiety, or like merging onto a highway. I'm literally like bracing myself for someone to hit me, and I'm like,
wow.
PTSD is a real thing. So, whew.
Yeah.
And I had so many people that were like, oh my God, that's just so unlucky. Like that intersection and all that is just so unlucky. How unlucky. And I was like, no, actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I have the best luck. If I would have been 1 second earlier, he would have hit my door straight on and I would be dead, So I'm like, God, actually, I have incredible luck.
Yeah.
I'm physically unharmed. The car was totaled, but who cares? It's a freaking car. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, just to talk about a life-changing journey last year.
Good Lord.
All while running an agency. So.
You think you have problems.
I'm very grateful to be alive. I'm very grateful that I am completely unharmed. I that is not lost on me, and I will literally wake up every day and thank God that I'm completely unharmed.
Yeah.
Pretty wild experience.
I can't even imagine. I'm gonna knock on wood. I mean, that is just crazy. That's crazy.
It's amazing what our brains do, though, to make us okay. You know what I mean? Like the next day, I didn't want to make some big dramatic announcement of like, oh, everyone, I was in a car accident. I don't need all that attention, to be honest. I didn't tell anybody besides my immediate team, obviously, because they were going to know something was wrong with me. My family, of course, knows. But other than that, I didn't make some dramatic post on social media or like tell all these people about it, because I'm just like, I don't really need all that attention, to be honest.
Yeah. Good for you.
And also I felt like the more people knew, the more people were going to ask me about it and want to talk about it and want to, you know what I mean? I'm like, my brain was focused on healing, you know what I mean? Of like trying to let it go. So.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm glad you're alive.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
That means I've got something else to do on Earth. I don't know, but I'm here for it.
You must. How do people find you?
Okay, the best way.
Yeah,
if they want to work with us, it depends. If you're more of a corporate brand that you want a full-blown white glove agency to build the plan, take it off your plate, and literally rock and roll and do it for you, head over to truestorypr.co. If you are a small business, maybe a mom and pop of some sort, and you know you need some guidance, but you can't afford the agency, you can't afford a marketing director, your Marketing Heroes is going to be the best money you've ever spent. It's so, we have so much fun over there. So head to yourmarketingheroes.com for that. You can find both on social platforms if you want to see some of the content we're putting out. If you want to connect with me personally, I would say LinkedIn is a great way to do that. Whitney Lee. And you can also check me out on Instagram too. I post on there from time to time about the podcast and all the things.
Do you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn?
Yeah. LinkedIn is actually like crushing it.
You know? I know. I post there. I just don't necessarily hang out there, but maybe I need to. I'm always on Instagram and I'm always on Facebook. I post on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok.
You know what's interesting is that for your Marketing Heroes, people are finding us through TikTok and Instagram. That's where they are seeing the content, engaging with us there. True Story is all about LinkedIn because it's corporate people, right? So most of the corporate stuff is all being driven through LinkedIn. And also I give myself a goal every week is to like connect with 2 new people every week and also connect with 2 people that I haven't talked to in a long time. So I go on LinkedIn. I maybe find somebody with a mutual connection. I also find a lot of podcast guests there, but I try to reach out to 2 new people and connect, and even if it's a 10-minute virtual coffee, and then I try to do 2 people maybe I knew earlier in my career and just touch base with them. So that's what I use LinkedIn for. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I love chopping it up. We'll be in touch for sure. I've got some people for your podcast as well. So
heck yeah.
Some really cool people. So, hey, I appreciate you. I just, you never know who you're going to meet. Keep going out there and meeting people. Cause like one person could just introduce you to one person to another person that just like changes the trajectory.
When you told me that, like you texted me that a couple weeks ago and told me that, like, legitimately made my day. Like,
oh, good.
For me, I love life and obviously I'm a PR person, right? So we like people, public relations, but people are everything. Relationships, connections is everything. I wouldn't have any of my businesses without it. And so I'm like, man, if I can open the door to introduce one person into some, like I love helping good people, meet more good people,
Yeah.
So that just like totally made my day. I'm so glad Jasmine was a great connection for you.
That was awesome. Yeah, we'll do a what I call a Rolodex party soon. It's just basically, we'll sit and I'll go, oh, you should meet so and so, so and so, so and so.
Yes.
And vice versa. So
totally. Let's do it.
Good. All right. Whitney, thanks so much for being here. Brought to you by Leduc Entertainment for all of your production needs, podcasts, videos. We got you. Keep listening, keep watching, and we'll see y'all next time.